And welcome to another show here on SNN Street News Now. I'm Lee Michaels, and what you're watching right now on your screen is Democracy in Progress. This is a shot of somewhere in America where people are standing in lines to vote. It doesn't matter who they voted for or against. It's the fact that they had the opportunity, the freedom, the choice to vote for whoever they wanted. And so far, it's over 77.5 million people who have voted for Joe Biden and 72 million for that other guy. All right. I know that's and then he is in command of the Electoral College. What is up? I don't understand this. Maybe my cohorts here can help me understand what's really going on. Chris Bass, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and boom shakalaka to you and the rest of the horsemen.
Now, I want you to think about that question. Why is it that we're in this state of limbo? We've got a president that will not concede and say, okay, I got my butt handed to me and I need to move on. Pack up my stuff, call U-Haul and get on down the road. Don't answer that yet. Let me bring in the rest of the crew. Dr. Ron, how you doing tonight?
What up, what up, what up, what up?
Well, he's in regular form, all right. And here's the professor. What's up, Professor Miles?
Good evening, Dr. Lee, and good evening, horsemen. We are here tonight to just have another good time.
That's it. We're going to answer some questions and kill some conspiracy theories. Okay, Chris, go ahead and take the top. What do you think? I mean, really, what is really going on?
It's very simple. The so-called president has people waiting for him, legal people, lawyers and judges, and oh my. And he knows what's up against him once he leaves. He said before he would not concede. He knows that the end is nigh. So he knows after he leaves that office, kicking and screaming, however you want to do it, he's going to face legal trouble. I mean, serious legal trouble, especially in New York. They chomping at the bit. They can't wait. They want to devour this man. You know what I mean? I'm always a media buff and cartoons in particular. Cartoon back in the day with Chilly Willy. So there's an episode with Chilly Willy, and there's some shark bait waiting for Chilly Willy at the bottom of the ocean. And the guy yells out, "Shark bait!" And the shark has a knife and fork with his mouth open. That's the legal system waiting for him. They cannot wait. They're going to devour this man, and he knows it. He's just on borrowed time.
And Dr. Ron, what's your take on it?
Oh man, I absolutely agree with the base. Look, this guy knows that anything other than maintaining the presidential seat that he's in right now is going to leave him very vulnerable to a lot of issues once he steps outside of the office. And rightfully so, man. This dude, he brought a spotlight on himself, and people began to probe and look into things, and they discovered more things while he was in office that they could not touch him for than what it was before he got in office. And look, I'm gonna throw this at you. I was looking at a replay of The View the other day. They aired this on the 10th, and one of the hosts on The View brought up the subject matter is that he is constantly calling for a recount. So the question came up, since you want to recount so bad, are we counting every person on the ticket over again, or we're just counting the presidential count only? Okay, because if there's illegal activity going on in the election process, then everybody that was voted for on that day needs to get a recount. So they brought that point up, and it's a very good point. I'm like, because if that's the case, they might not have what they got if they're going after a recount on everything. So.
Well, it's silly for them to do that, but I'll save my comments until after we hear from Reverend Dr. DJ. Professor Michael.
Hey, listen, I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to participate. I agree with Ron. I agree with the base. I mean, everything. I got to take it from the words of my mentor. Well, one of my radio mentors, Herb Kennedy, just say everything is everything. Because this dude, I really don't want to give him that much drama. I really don't, because I really don't want to keep adding fuel to the fire on what he does. Because he's through. He's done. Finito. Out of here. It's just a matter of time. What he's doing is a distraction. It's a distraction. It's definitely a distraction. A lot of people in this country saw that as this man was moving into the in this office as one of the most powerful men in the world, that this brother was ugly, that this brother was beginning, and God don't like ugly, and black women don't like ugly, and this dude was just he's just being ugly right now. It's just ugly, and right now as a people, we're tired of it. I feel sorry for all them people that's caught up and stuck on stupid with this dude. I feel sorry for them because they stuck on stupid, and they're gonna go down with the ship.
You're right, Professor. You're absolutely right. I think that anybody that is still glued to Trump, listen, this is America. It's you have that freedom and the choice to believe in whatever you want to believe in. But at some point in time, my hope is common sense will kick in and you will see the truth. The truth is this man has been hoodwinking, bamboozling, lying, stealing, cheating right in your face. And you say, oh, it's okay. You laugh it off. This is not a laughing matter, folks. Mm-hmm. And you've just got to come to the realization that he doesn't have your best interest at heart.
Man, how could he? How could he? Look at the COVID rise. Look at man, they on the brink now of they wanting to shut the country down. Now, I wish they would have sense enough to go ahead on and whatever they gonna do, give us a month, had the government or whatever, pay everybody that month, and then shut it down. Make everybody stay at home until they can get a focus and find out where this is. But as long as folk keep talking about they got to make this money and get out here, man, they ain't gonna be able to get no handle on it.
Well, that's because that's the message that he's been portraying all along, that, we got to get the economy back. We need to open up the schools and the churches, and, the merchants need to be open. All of that is true in time, but you don't want to, as my dad used to say, son, slow down. Don't rush to fail. Mm-hmm. When you're 10, 11 years old, that might not make a lot of sense to you unless you got an IQ 2 points above plant life, which I didn't at that time. I was below zero. So I would look at the old man and go, what the hell are you talking about? Slow down, son. Don't rush to fail. Okay, Dad. All right. And then later, in life, you hear that voice when you're about to do something stupid that doesn't make sense, and the old man's voice comes through, and it makes sense. So I'm appealing to anybody that's willing to listen and understand that you keep rushing to do something for not the right reasons. Okay? If it's selfish, it's only going to benefit you and you're going to destroy everybody else. That's bad. That's real, real, real bad. And that's what this guy's been doing. That being said, he has been voted out. And on January 20th, they're supposed to swear in the new president, Joseph Biden, and his running mate, Kamala Harris, as the VP. And things should move on like they did 4 years ago on the same day, like it did 4 years prior to that on the same day, like it did 4 years before that, and on and on and on throughout history. But this son of a gun wants to change the pattern of everything that existed before him, regardless of whether it's a part of our Constitution or not. And he's got his own damn rules. Now, there's rumors going around that he would like to handpick his own electoral college, people that will favor him, and override the will of the people, override the existing results of what it should be from the electoral college. So what is that? That's corruption. That's just like manipulating the system and disrespecting those people that are standing in line. Now, most of those people, they said on the 3rd of November, were actually his people because he told them not to go with the mail-in because it was not safe and it was going to be corruption. Well, okay, stand in line, do your thing, whatever you want to do. And everybody had the choice of either voting early, which means you had to go stand in line, or if you got your state sent out a ballot in the mail, you could fill it out and drop it off at your polling place, or any polling place, by the way, in most states, and be on your merry way. My son Corey worked the polls here in Nevada, and there were numerous people that would come in and drop their ballot off at the voting place, and they wouldn't have to stand in line. They bypass what you see on the screen right now. So we had all kind of choices and ways to vote. And I think what we are seeing, what's going on right now, the largest turnout of all time, is clear that if you make it easy, accessible for most people, you're going to get a better turnout. And I think the early voting in most of the states was very good. The mail-in or the drop-off ballot was very good. It made it easier for people to participate in the voting process. And I submit that this was a good test for the future. And I think we should have multiple ways in every state in the union. And I hope that DC and Puerto Rico and maybe some others can become states officially. And have this process to be as easy as possible and legit. I mean, I'm for, the checks and balances and all of that. But we need to make it easy and accessible for most people, including the handicapped people.
Homeland Security said this was the most safest one. I mean, this was the most together one of them all. And here it comes. If we was gonna cheat, right? If we were gonna cheat, we were supposed to get Mitch and the boy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
With them the two, if we was gonna cheat, if we was gonna steal something, we needed to steal them 2 Senate seats.
I think we ought to investigate those 2 states.
Yeah,
I spent money on to the opponents of both of them. I sent money to Amy and Jamie. I mean, I was serious about it, and I know people. And I mean, Jamie's raised what's his jerk name?
What's the boy name? Graham? What's the boy? Lindsey.
Yeah, he was crying on Fox, begging for money. He said, "Please go to my site. We need more. We're running out of money.
Yeah, I'm broke.
I'm
Right.
broke." Yeah.
Right.
And now, how can a dude that's been in the Senate that long be broke? Now, I can't believe it.
Well, he personally ain't broke, I'm sure, but his
Right.
campaign fund was
Oh,
low.
okay.
And it's because people were not sending money in him because they didn't believe in him. They weren't supporting him. But he won by a good margin, I think it was.
So then let's do a recall. Recall his votes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now,
Now, you brought their names up, but even now, Lindsey and Mitch are both doing that moonwalk backwards away from Trump. They're starting to distance themselves.
But they have to.
Right. They have to. And Attorney General Barr is being used by Trump, greatly because he's using the power of the Attorney General to try to investigate where he needs him to investigate, but he legally doesn't have any standing, on local elections in a state where these elections that he's questioning and challenging the numbers. The only person that is openly right now still standing with Trump is Jonathan Karl. He's the only one willing to stand up and hold a press conference and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to be still in office." He's the only one. Everybody else is like, they're mumbling, "It's over with, it's over with."
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm going to throw the mic to the professor because there's rumors going around that Trump, somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas, is going to go down to Florida and not come back, and may either resign or get sick and fake the funk and take himself out of position and have the vice president to pardon him. What are your thoughts on that?
I heard that too. And I heard that one of those conspiracy theories. But that's gonna hit a brick wall. That's gonna hit it's gonna be a really brick wall. Because I can't figure out how to what the guy. I listened to a couple of pundits, but that's like a Hail Mary on a Hail Mary.
Mm.
It's
if he pulls that off,
possible, but it hasn't been done yet. So it ain't no precedence. It's no precedence yet. And so with his look right now, I mean, that's like gonna be obvious. Dude, you caught. And so you got to pull out the last stops on everything. But I think now, once it comes down, the people gonna want to see what this dude really. He not gonna get it like Dick Nixon. See.
No, what he doesn't have the mindset, first of all, to do the right thing.
Right.
Go ahead and say, "Look, okay, folks, I've heard your voice. You did not vote for me, and I respect that. So I'm going to go on and step aside, concede, and the future president will come in and do his thing, and I will hand over the keys and go out there and get in my U-Haul and get on down the road." Now, that's the right thing to do.
Now, let me ask the question of the panel.
Mm-hmm.
On that theory that you just presented, can a person be pardoned if they have not officially been charged?
Well, that's a good question. And I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't think any of us are. But it certainly admits to some type of guilt that if you have to pardon yourself or have the VP pardon you after you step down, and then he can do that temporarily, by the way. He can get sick again, fake, and then come back a couple of days later, say, "Yeah, I'm okay now. I'm sitting back in the seat. I'm the president again." So I mean, there's ways that
that'll be political suicide for Pence. That'll be worse than being oatmeal man.
It would be. horrible for both
Wait
of
a
them.
minute, what you call him, oatmeal man?
Yeah, that's what they call Gerald Ford, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sure
So
did.
I don't know. The right thing for him to do is to go ahead and just go with the flow, not make a stink, because it's not going to help him down the road. However,
how can a liar ever do the right thing?
well, you're right on that.
Yeah. I'm not sure that tactically that would be a good move, because even if he allowed Pence to fill the office for the last 2 months, it's a lame duck session.
Yeah.
He has no power and ability to be able to do anything, even with the power of the pen. One of the last things that most sitting presidents do on the way out, they pardon convicted people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. People that have been, convicted of something, they get a presidential pardon, but they have been found guilty, and many of them serving time.
Yep.
So the pardon, and I remember in the beginning, this fool asked that question: can I pardon myself? Remember that?
Yeah.
He asked that question because when they were going after his son for being in the room with the Russian people,
Right.
investigating information about Hillary Clinton. His son was in the room. So everybody that was in the room was eligible for a pardon. And he was asking the question during that time, who all can I pardon? Can I pardon myself? He asked that question. So, even way back then, he knew he was going to need a pardon.
He was doing dirty.
You're right.
Candy Lucas is watching, and thank you. And for all of those who are watching and listening to us right now, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube channel is SNN Street News Now, so you can check us out on both platforms. But go ahead and like and subscribe and tell your friends and share it so that we can get more people involved in our broadcast. So we do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. That's 9 p.m. East Coast and 6 p.m. out here on the left coast. Yay. Every now and then the hip hop comes out. But Candy Lucas is saying, ain't no economy. Yeah. If everybody's dead or sick.
Amen.
Amen and a women.
Yeah.
Hey, Candy.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
And they're projecting that by February, that could be 400,000 people dead.
That's right.
So
that's 400,000 too many.
Yeah. I don't know how big the number has to be for all of us to take this in a serious note, because listen, I'm looking out for you. You need to look out for me. We need to look out for us. Okay. This is the United States of America. We're looking like boo-boo the fool to the world. And not only that, the world is exploding again and the virus spreading. And the scientists, the scientists said, hey, when the weather changes, it's going to get jacked up again.
Right.
Lo and behold, they're right. Here we are. No, the virus was not killed by the heat. Summertime was supposed to wash it down the drain. It didn't happen.
Man.
Because the man just straight up lied. He had his own vested interest, and that was to win the presidency again, to keep his hot ass out of jail.
Exactly.
And to continue to pimp America.
Absolutely.
And put money in the pockets of his compadres.
That's right.
And that's what did him in. Yeah. I believe when we got word about the Bob Woodward tapes, it definitely broke the whole mirror of Democrats and Republicans and just human beings. The fact that he lied again, once again, I said it before, you can hang around gang members and, they were friends. Like I said before, I grew up, with hell. I was riding big wheels with the gangs up in my block that became teenagers that did their thing. But they had a respect factor when it came to themselves and women and children. But this dude has no allegiance whatsoever. Never had, never will. He would throw his own children under the bus. So when he lied to his own people, the Democratic hoax, once again, put into the politics, Democratic hoax will go away by spring. I don't want to cause a panic. Well, sir, you did cause a panic in your own way by lying to the American people, saying that it's not that bad. And it was horrible, what we go through right now. So going back to what you said about Senator Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, those guys, it really is.
Bitch or bitch?
Bitch. B-I-T-C-H.
I don't want you to
I'll say it again. I'll say it again. Bitch. McConnell. You know what? And again, it reminds me of the old song by Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams. Too much, too little, too late. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Don't get a conscience now. Don't have a morals now because you knew you got in bed, with the orange Cheeto from day one. And he's the crunchy kind, not the puffy kind.
I know that's right.
Again, sometimes, it just amazes me how short-sighted Americans can be. And historically, for the last 4 or 5 elections, we're the only, I can go back to President Reagan, maybe even before that. Consistently, Americans have voted against their own self-interest. I don't know how, and I've said this before, I'm going to say this again. I don't know how in the world that we thought that a businessman was going to be able to govern. A businessman only, and I don't care how good or bad this businessman was. A businessman, his main thing is to increase profits for himself. And the way he's going to increase these profits is that he's going to cut everything else. How many things did this man cut? The first thing he went after was the Affordable Care Act. He was going after stuff to get rid, to make his friends, his other business friends happy. This dude had no idea of what governance was. You're seeing Mr. Biden show you how to govern. This man is coming in with class. This man is even giving this dude a pass. He said, well, let him have his tantrum. He's trying to stay cool all the way. So we got to be crazy to even think about electing another. And although Mr. Trump was not the first businessman to try to win a presidency, we ought to know now for sure that a businessman cannot govern, not in the United States. Maybe
all right now.
Maybe off of some small little island, but not the United States.
Yeah. Dr. Katrina Sanders, shout out to her. She said, how can a liar govern? Trump's niece is talking on CNN right now. She's spilling the beans. She wrote that book, and they tried to stop her from going public with that book before the election started. Yeah. What is the number for people to call in? Professor Lee over there. They got a phone number they can call in at. What is it?
Yeah, we have a phone number. Come on, you know the number is 954-668-4325. I'll put it in the room. But you can call in and be a part of the show, like the old-fashioned call-ins for radio stations. And also, I'll post a link if you want to join us and be on the screen, just like the 4 horsemen here, and we can make a 5th spot just for you. I'll post that in the chat room here in just a minute. But 954-668-4325.
I also have a question. I have a question for everybody, and also people out there you want to join in. The question I have for everybody, we'll start with Lee, because I know how it may get discombobulated, all of us going in at the same time. But I'm going to start with the legend first and then work our way around. The question is, can Joe Biden, in this state right now, heal the nation?
Well, he can't. I mean, he's doing the best that he can, standing on the outside looking in. But until he is officially in position, I think most of the people who voted for him are already on board. We're going to follow his leadership because we know that's the right thing to do, because we know what is not working, has not worked. But I think once he is in the White House and can make things happen, push some buttons and make some commands and change the direction, then I think we'll begin to see something. And maybe with these viruses are now coming into the final stage, maybe that might help a bit, but it's going to take months and months and months for that to happen. So we need more time. I wish that we could make that transition from the current president to the new president now, because every day that we don't have new leadership is a day wasted, more lives lost. I think we lost 1,400 people yesterday, just here in America. Texas and California both are now at 1 million detections. And I mean, there ain't no end to this thing because there ain't nobody doing nothing. And we're still not testing enough people fast enough. And because the rise in the number of cases that are being detected and the number of people that are in the hospitals, over 60,000 people in hospitals in America, we're going to get into a real pickle here as this thing continues to grow. We won't be able to keep up with it because 6 months ago, 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago, we were not doing the right things to be able to handle the pressure we're under right now. So, bad leadership. Hey, man, step up, man up, put on your big boy britches, own it, and say, hey, I screwed up. I apologize. And, listen, I thought I was doing the right thing, but obviously we didn't have a grip on it. And I yield my time away to new leadership. But anything that he does to deflect or to try to change the narrative is not going to help, number one. It's not going to help us, the American people, number one. Number two, it's only going to continue to destroy whatever legacy he thinks he has built. And it's going to make our politics more corrupt moving forward, because if we get another idiot in there like him, hey, they'll say, hey, well, Trump got away with it. Why can't I? And we can't allow that to happen.
Yeah. I think that the gap between non-leadership and leadership is going to be a very refreshing, positive step. If you notice, the president-elect currently is doing everything that he needs to do to bring a transition team and bring a cabinet and appoint people that will obviously do a job better than what the current administration is doing. So, and they're not waiting until they're asked to do this. They're doing it now, expecting to be able to hit the ground running at full speed, because they're going to have to hit the ground at full speed in order to be able to pull some of these things off. And I am optimistic. I ain't got no conspiracy theory. I am optimistic that when they hit the ground and they have full authority to be able to do what they need to do, it will be a refreshing change from what we have now. I look at the leadership that we have in the state of Illinois and the leadership that we have in the city of Chicago, and they are not asking permission to do their job. They are doing their job. Okay. They have stepped forward, and no, people are not liking the decisions that they have made in reference to what's happening with Corona in the state and on the local levels. But sometimes being a good leader is making decisions that everybody's not going to agree with. So that's a perfectly good example of what good leadership looks like. So, the transition team that he is rallying, our people of experience. Ain't nobody new coming into a new position. These are people that have had the job before and have done a good job before, and they're coming back at a time when they know it's a crisis going on in the nation. And it's even more important now to be able to do the job on a higher level of performance and perfection than, ever before. So, to answer your question, I think it can happen, and I'm optimistic that it will happen.
Mr. Bates, would you please repeat the question?
Sure, I can understand where you might get lost in translation. The question is, Professor, can Joe Biden heal the nation?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, not in deference to Mr. Biden, but I think the first healing has to come within ourselves. And then we will work to make him as a president be better. I think right now the election was a referendum. It was a wake-up call for us to now hold the politicians accountable for the votes that they get from us. We have to hold them accountable. See, because we have just seen, and we're still witnessing blind faith, belief in a man. That man did not care about people that had less, that does not have, money. He does not care he did not care for people of color. He did not care for those people who are sick with the coronavirus and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to make any more comparisons on what Mr. Biden should and do. I just want to hold Mr. Biden accountable for the job that he is supposed to do. Now, Mr. Biden was his people, his camp, they were brilliant. Okay, because he surrounded himself with a lot of black women. Starting with the vice president. And then also, we cannot forget, we need to just take this focus away from what this former president, what this man who's currently, this lame duck, who's holding the White House, the deal goes down to Georgia. That's where the deal is in Georgia. Our prayers, our support needs to be for the balance of power that where the scales can be tipped down in Georgia. Those 2 seats need to be flipped, and we need to turn Georgia blue so Mr. Biden can have a better chance at doing what he needs to do against, what did you call him, McConnell?
Bitch McConnell.
Yeah. That dude and that other one, what's his name? Lindsey Cracker?
Lindsey Graham Cracker.
Right. That is. And so then we could be on a better be on a better playing field. I'm not gonna put all this on this one man, because this one man did an incredible job to bring light on the lies. And he shined the light on the light. So now that we all see, it's like, oh my God, I can see now. So now we got to do that. But then we still got to look at him and say, well, Mr. Biden, okay, we got you in there. What have you done for us? And we got to start that course. We need to start the scorecard now. Not on the 20th, now. The list of the things we want now. We got to start talking about these things. The FCC ain't did nothing in media ownership in God knows how long. Okay, so we need to start talking about them kind of things, because we knew we wasn't gonna get it while Trezaro was dealing with it. But now that Trezaroism is over, or it's coming to a close, politicians must be held accountable. They must answer to the vote that we gave them.
But we also have to hold leaders as well accountable as well, following your logic. Because, for example, in the Black community, We have been blued, screwed, and tattooed. We've been rammed up, not even kissed on the cheek afterwards. So we have to keep certain black leaders, if not all black leaders, accountable as well, because they've been pimping us out since day one. We're out there on Hope Street.
Well, that's a whole, listen now, we ain't gonna turn that page because I'll start cussing. So, and I don't want to start.
But I cussed for you earlier when I said,
yeah,
I started that already, so you might as well follow along suit.
I'm trying to be cool because I already know. Because have you noticed in the news now, they not talking about the brothers who supported Trump?
Quiet. Right.
Yeah, no, but they ain't talking about $50 who supported Trump.
Right.
You don't hear no more about Cube Ice.
Nope.
and all West Kanye, all these other people, because that was designed for disinformation.
Absolutely.
That was designed to pull us apart. You understand? But the sisters was too strong for us to let that SOS, that same old stuff, playbook rhetoric come in and do something. This is serious right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is serious right now. We got to tell these cats, y'all got to do something for us. All of them. And even my man, Mr. Al, all the cats, the old guy. But the question is now, who really speaks for us? And we can't have them or the media or anybody else saying who speaks for us. It's like, okay, well, let's choose Reggie Miles. Let's make him a leader. No, the leader comes out from us.
We can't expect or depend on any one individual, because 77.5 million people spoke in this last election. We are all leaders because we stepped up and made a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in numbers is a better way of looking at it, as opposed to waiting for someone to become the next Martin Luther King or whatever. I mean, not that wasn't a good idea. It was at the time, but we have to take the advantage of the technology, like what happened down there in Georgia. Who would have thought? It's been 20 years too late. Okay, but who would have thought that we would see Georgia turning blue?
Woo!
It's because a joint effort and the leadership of Abrams.
Stacey Abrams, Keisha Lance Bottoms. Oh,
see, she got mad because her attempt to become the governor down there was stolen from her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all want to play this? I'm going to hit you with the real deal. I'm going to get the people on the streets out here to get engaged.
Whoa.
And the combination of being concerned for the last 4 years of our current leadership, and because of all the violence in the streets and the disrespect from the cops and so on, there's a lot of energy behind this election. A lot of energy, a lot of saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So because of straight up hardcore energy from Stacey Abrams and others in the state of Georgia and Pennsylvania and Nevada and Arizona and Michigan and Wisconsin and all the other states around the country, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's what we're seeing. The people have spoken, and ain't no way legally or any other way that it can be changed. How are you going to tell me I was wrong? Well, was 77.5 million people wrong? Were we bamboozled? No, we were bamboozled in 16.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you were not woke. You were sleeping at the wheel, and you bought into the negativity that Donald Trump did. He did a snow job on Clinton, and maybe she wasn't the perfect candidate, but I'd be damned. I don't think we'd be in the shape we're in right now if she was in office.
Amen. Amen.
I wish Hillary Clinton would come out and do a public service announcement or whatever and say, how you like me now?
Yeah. But but the question was, do you think that we can overcome this mess that we got right now. So I agree that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. We can't stop now. We just did the first part, but we got to have a clear path to a better America. Okay, we got to have a clear path.
Well, it's gonna start in Georgia. It's gonna start in Georgia. We got to get that control of the Senate. So Kamala has Vice President Harris has the tiebreaker. So we got to wrestle that from them. But
then there's a clear path. There's a plan, to try and get hold of what the America that we live in now and make it better. So, and Biden being the president, sits in the position to make America better than what it currently is. So,
that's easy though, man. After what
ain't nothing. No, it ain't nothing easy about it. Ain't nothing easy about it.
Oh no, man. I ain't going with that one.
Because guess what? We still got issues. We got issues.
Well, we fix ourselves.
We need justice reform. We need to be able to address, like we've been talking about, the health issues that's going on. People of color are dying at an outstanding rate, more than any other people in this country. Okay, so we got to address our health issues. Okay, we need to make sure that we can get the medical community to help us help ourselves. Okay, so that we are not the most outstanding number and with the toe tag on it. Okay. Because
I could deal with that. I could deal with that.
Okay. So that's why I say we got issues, and these are some of the things that need to be addressed. So they talking about trying to get rid of Obamacare. That's just a method of payment. Okay, for all the health issues that we got. But we still got to get the mindset that we got to get help with our health issues. Otherwise, who gonna pay for it is not even relevant.
Well, I think one step at a time, and I think the first step is on that Senate. We got to get.
That's the most pressing thing right now.
We got to give this president some type of. This president has to have some type of majority, so they can't use that. What's that girl named filibuster?
Yeah.
That girl.
So every time they do something, they always bring that, they always bring that broad up, man. Filibuster. They always
from Southside Chicago.
Yeah, they always use her to stop something. Man, Mr. Obama was the president 8 years, and I thought he was going with her. Because every time you look around, they was calling her filibuster.
Yeah.
not just Buster.
Yeah.
Not just Buster. Yeah. Filibuster,
Yeah. So
Buster's our cousin, huh?
so we got to eliminate that part first. We gotta eliminate. We gotta make sure that that's laid down. And then I don't understand how come the Democrats couldn't have filibuster. Was she was just going with Republicans?
Yeah.
It look. The Democrats couldn't do nothing.
Look. 954-668-4325. Join the conversation, y'all. We got a deep one. We getting it in over here. I'm telling y'all. We getting it in. If you want to join the show, click on the tab in the conversation link. Come join us. We got it going on here. We got the legend, Mr. Lee Michaels. We right here on Street News Now. We got the base. We got the professor, and we got myself, Dr. Ryan. And we appreciate the comments that are coming in the comments. Dr. Katrina Sanders, and she's with us. She on this conversation. We got Gershly Kendricks is in the conversation with us. Call in if y'all want to say something on the air. Call in. We got the number up there.
Oh, on Facebook or YouTube, there's a link in the chat room there that you can click on, and it will bring you right into the broadcast. It's like you see the four of us here. We can bring you right into the screen, and you can be visually, and we can hear you. You can be right on the stage with us. So don't be scared. Come on in.
Right, because I promise I ain't gonna cuss.
Don't make that promise now.
Don't say that, bro.
Don't make that promise.
Real quick.
But when we in the green room, yeah. But now,
you're close though. I can hear in your voice. You're close. But first, before we move any further in this conversation, I gotta thank the professor because I had no idea that filibuster was a female. I had no idea. I don't know if it's like Miss Filibuster or Mrs. or Ms. I had no idea. And Miss Buster has been passed around in like a $2 whore. And I didn't know. Man. I had no idea. Man. I want to thank you for the enlightenment of Miss Filibuster, the $2 government whore.
Man, 8 years we saw that, man. With this man, Mr. Obama, he wanted to do things. He said this Affordable Care Act. He wanted to do everything. But what's the boy's name start with a B. McConnell? B. McConnell. He called her. He said, "Look, Phila, I need you," and she came on in there.
Yes, she did.
And he'll do it again, folks. Okay. Yeah. Listen, we already have a problem in the justice system as it relates to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, I don't think I'm going to live long enough to see that change.
Right.
Okay. Now, let's look at it short-term, long-term. Right now, we have 6 Supreme Court justices that have been appointed by a conservative president. Most of these justices stay on there for 30, 40 years. Okay, so just think about that. Now, this girl that they just put on there, what is she like? She's not even 48 years old. Just think. Now, if she lives to be 88 years old and she's still sitting there 40 years from now, I know I'm not going to be around. I ain't going to last 40 years. I don't think so. I might, but I doubt it. Okay, I'm 70 now. Okay, so if I make it another 40, y'all going to have hell on your hands because I'm going to be one honorary SOB.
that would be left for your kids to deal with, okay?
Man, so that means they're gonna have to take that Supreme Court up to 11, ain't it?
Yeah, that's the plan that's the plan that the president. Yeah, he said what he was gonna do was create a committee to investigate increasing the number of judges. So that was his nice way of saying it's about to happen.
Yeah.
Listen, one thing that I believe in, and I think if our friend Alpha was in here with us, he would agree that sometimes the Democrats are just too soft on issues. You know, we're so diplomatic and, trying to be the good guy. We need to play pool, not play checkers, but we need to play chess. We got to stay 1 or 2 steps ahead of these clowns because that's what they're doing. And if we're sitting around saying, well, yeah, we know they're going to play dirty, but, we're going to take the high road and let them take the low road. Well, I agree with that. But sometimes you got to punch a sucker in the eye and knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's the only way you're going to win. And you got to now, this is what Trump was good at. He has gotten every one of those people in Congress, both in the House and the Senate, scared to freaking death. He has all of them and pulled them along. And these guys believe, because he's got 72 million votes right now, that he is the bomb diggity. No, he lost. I don't give a damn if he had 100 million and the other guy's got 110, he lost. Okay, period.
But he cannot come to grips
Muhammad Ali knocked somebody out, and this guy was supposed to be the best, and he got knocked out. Guess what? He didn't win. He lost.
But you have to come to grips with the fact that if he knows all of a sudden, he's very quiet. He loves the media. He loves to be out there. He loves to be, off teleprompter Trump. But here's the thing, too. When you put words out there that come back to bite you in the ass tenfold, Those are the words we talked about, being a winner. And then what, boys and girls? That's right, being a loser. And now you're the loser and you can't handle it. Because in your world, losers are, miscreants, they're failures and everything else. And that's what you are right now. And you're the outgoing president and you can't take it. So he's probably somewhere, with his crayons, trying to find a way to write himself out of it if he can, right? That funky long penmanship he would put on all these documents, everything else. He cannot accept the fact that he failed. I mean, this is the same man that told about 4-star, general families, 4-star gold families, that they were failures. That people, we celebrated, the fact of Veterans Day.
Just yesterday.
You can't take, right, exactly, yesterday. And once again, all the veterans again that serve our country. In fact, we have one right here with Dr. Ron. So bless you, brother. Thank you. But look at the fact that your so-called leader is saluting in a major disrespect to everybody that have served, from past, present, and into the future, by calling them losers and saying that, in fact, one of his press secretaries that got COVID-19, he said that one of the 4-star general families, that she got it from them. The blatant disrespect. So again, in my lifetime, you run into a couple of people now and again, personally or whatever. I never met someone that pissed off everybody. Everybody. Across the line, across the board. Once again, no allegiances. This is hurting him because he understands the fact that the L that he's been giving people has now come to him. It's the classic chickens coming home to roost.
Definitely.
I mean, it's like when you stand up to a bully.
Yeah. Now, let me address that. Let me throw this out there. We all know there's various types of leadership styles. Okay. And intimidation, it seems to be his favorite type. Like you say, a bully. So we see that his leadership style has not served him well at all in the office of a president. So we see a different style getting ready to enter into office. So do you think that, going back to what Chris was trying to allude to earlier, that we will be able to rally around more of the incoming president finesse and what Trump said during the debate? That's what a politician does. He tells you what you want to hear. He brought that out during the debate. So do you think we'll be able to accomplish more with the leadership style of the incoming president?
I think we will. I mean, you got to look at the accomplishments of Joe Biden. He is known for being able to reach across the aisle and bring calm to the other side and bring those guys along. If he still has that ability, and I think then we can begin to change the tide. If not, then we have to have control of both the House and the Senate to make things change. And we didn't put enough effort on getting rid of Mitch McConnell, or at least winning the Senate to take him out of the position of power, being the chairman of the Senate. If you get him out of that position, I think you might change the tone of the Senate, because he's a nasty, mean-spirited guy. If something comes from the House, goes to the Senate for them to vote on, he won't even bring it to the floor for a vote. And if he does, he's already stacked the deck, because he's told guys, don't vote. Don't vote for it. We're going to make him a one-term president. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was what, 12 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, the man was just sworn in and he was saying, we're going to make Barack Obama a one-term president. So right there, he showed his hand. Like Trump has showed his hand from day one.
Right. Let me see your birth certificate.
Right. Nonsense, man.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable. We getting a lot of comments over here. Let's see. Did you want to address that, Chris, while he brings up the comments?
Which one? Let's see. And Malcolm X said it. Happy Almost Friday, family. Okay. Yep. Mitch McConnell. That's a good name for him.
Yeah, it is. That's
Well,
our brother in broadcasting, R. Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
In the comment room. Yeah, R. Michael's good brother, man.
Right. Yep. What's up,
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah.
I think we have to focus in on the Senate. If we can turn those two seats, Senate seats in Georgia, to Democrats, then we've got, I think that'll bring us to what, 51?
50.
50. It'll be 50
Yeah.
even?
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
50 with Miss Vice BP Harris, the tiebreaker.
Right, exactly.
So that'll be a better road. And then like the first thing I'm gonna do, like Durbin, I'm getting ready, I'm gonna send him a letter. I say, dude, what about some of the things for us? Period. I don't care what it is. If it's a better form of Social Security, it's a, it's killing me, right? I'm like in my 60s, right? And all these insurance games and stuff, I got to choose. All I want to do is just have one that's gonna take care of me and be through with it. I don't want to be comparing this one with that one, with that one, with this one. Man, they got to make this, they got to make it easier for us to deal with, make this retirement and stuff, make it more plain, to stop making us be criminals about building up our 401ks and stuff. There's a lot of stuff they gotta change to bring it down to the common people. I mean, the rich folk gonna do their thing making money, but if you're gonna really be about the middle class, Mr. President or Mr. President-elect, then let me see the legislation that you're gonna propose for that. And then all the promises that you made, we need to have them down, and we need to take those promises and send them to our elected representative in the Senate and in the House and say, keep Joe on this path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny you should say that, because I felt inspired to write a letter to Dick Durbin myself, and not just there, but also Robin Kelly. She's our congresswoman.
Right.
And make sure that I CC both of them, definitely, addressing criminal reform on the federal level first before they start pointing the finger at the state levels, because I don't know if many people know this, but on the state level, there is this thing they call sealing of cases, or you can get pardons or paroles and things of that. You can get that on the state level. The only way anyone on the federal level can get anything has to be a presidential pardon. So how many federal cases that people were railroaded into federal charges, federal prisons, they get out, they've served their time, they've done everything they're supposed to do, and they still got that 2x4 hanging over their head, where the federal system is still persecuting them for whatever mistakes they might have made when they were young. So if you're going to give a clear path to the opportunity of being able to give justice reform to people of color, you got to start on a federal level. There's stuff in their house that they can get straightened out, and don't point fingers at the local levels all the time, So, yep. And then there's other things that the federal level can be addressed, but, we got to bring it to their attention. Like I said, we still got a lot of work to do, and I'm gonna cry out loud all the time. Roll up your sleeves. Let's get busy. Whatever your passion is, whatever your concerns are, let's get busy. Let's bring them to the forefront of all of the people that are going to be back in our face talking about put me back in 2 years. Okay. The clock is ticking now. We need to get in front of their face right now. and let them know what our issues are and what our concerns are.
You're absolutely right. And here's the thing, folks. We all have to commit to putting some type of effort into changing the path of this country. We just proved that we could do it by voting Joe Biden in. Don't stop now. Keep that energy level up, because that's what the Republicans are trying to do. The real main reason that he has not conceded is because the longer we're sitting here talking about it, it's another distraction, but it is for the future. It is to help keep his people upset in the state of Georgia, because they know that if they lose the Senate, things are not going to be in their control anymore. So we need to win the Senate back. Give Joe Biden the tools and the opportunity to bring about the change that the Senate needs to make. And there's hundreds of bills that are sitting there on the Senate floor that we don't even know about, that came from the House, just like the act, not act, but the HEROES Act.
Mm-hmm.
And two of them since what, March or June? 2 bills from the House. Mitch McConnell won't even bring it to the Senate floor for a vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's money that would help all of us, rich and poor, middle class, the country, things that we need right now. Okay, the small businesses that have gone out of business, if they've gotten that money back in May, June, July, whenever, maybe they would still be in business because they needed to float money. But if you can't pay your rent, you can't buy your supplies, guess what? You got to close your damn doors.
So you mean to tell me we're not gonna get the platinum package that Trump said he was gonna give us?
Where is it? They have it's in his court. It's in his and Mitch McConnell's court to make it happen. All they got to do is push the button.
That platinum package.
Nancy Pelosi, just say, okay, Nancy, look, what is it you want? She wanted what, $2.2 billion, $trillion, billion, whatever it was. Give it to her. Guess what, folks? That money comes right back into the economy. It's going to come right back to the government in the form of freaking taxes. Come on, it's a circle.
But you mean that platinum package that all the black people went to the president to negotiate on our behalf? We ain't finna get that.
No, hell no, because it's not included. The things that Cube and everybody else went to him for ain't in the platinum package. Let's keep it real. It was one of those meetings. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, I'm going to run it up the flagpole. But there ain't no rope on the flag to bring it up.
I just knew because he liked us colored people that he was gonna sign the platinum package.
Oh,
Man,
he was gonna do an executive order, in order to make sure that we got the platinum package before he left. I just knew he was gonna do that for us.
Hell nope. Hell nope. We look, the aluminum foil package was never going to get off the ground anyway. Everybody knows that.
That was more like saran wrap.
SNN Street News Now.
Oh my goodness! Whatever you want to use is very flimsy, very flimsy. Right? It couldn't hold water. The fact remains is that going back
with a hole in it.
Ooh wee. Yeah. I don't want to talk about that. But it's a very vivid description there, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, well, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Legend.
I had to lighten it up.
Well, that's great. But you got that right. The fact remains is that this is the restart for all of us. And the restart happens with, once again, I said before, about us ourselves. When we find like-minded people to congregate, to bounce ideas off of. We go agree every time? No, I'm not agree every time. But the ones we can agree with, make that, make that happen, because the time is now. You have to look at it traditionally with people. people usually look after each other just by being human. You take care of each other. The old adage, back in the day, we always had this conversation over the years. On your neighborhood, everybody knew each other. Everybody knew Grandma Johnson. If you were down there playing hug a girl, kiss a girl, and to a girl, and Miss Johnson saw you do that, Miss Johnson go tell your mother or father, and then that was it. Again, it was a combination of family, and we don't have it anymore. But if we can get back to those roots in some way, shape, or form, I don't know, let's try media, for example. If we're using that to get to a certain audience platform, then have that same mentality, but now through a different style, through a different form. Use that. Use everything that you've had. Bounce ideas over people, and then you never know, it just might work. But nothing beats a failure but a try. You got to try it out first. So you just can't once again get in jubilation, and rightfully so, because of President-elect and Vice President-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But the work starts right now, as we said before. So don't rest on your laurels. Don't just hey, this is great. No, it becomes greater once you put time in it and to invest into it.
One of the things we're gonna have to help people out is we're gonna have to deconstruct a lot of things that's going on. Because now I looked at Candy's comment in the post, and she said that Fix It News is bringing back. It must have been Hannity. They bringing back Reverend Jeremiah Wright.
Oh God, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
There's her comment on the screen there.
Did anyone?
What does Jeremiah Wright have to do with what's going on?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, man. So they playing the race card early, man.
Yeah, because Warnock donated money to Obama's campaign. So did I. What the hell has that got to do with anything?
Because you want to stir up racism, you want to stir up, once again, division, because you have nothing. It goes back to what I said earlier in the conversation with you guys about the brown suit theory on Fox. When you have to create some bullshit about a suit that then President Obama wore, you're really stretching, Doctor. I mean, you're really stretching a mile wide. You make the suit. Yeah, go ahead.
And then on the one hand, you have that, and that's probably coming from Hannity, the other guy. But then you got other people saying that Fox is trying to distance themselves away from President Trump. So that's
too much, too little, too late.
But then that ain't nothing but disinformation. So right now is not the time to be watching Fox, and not unless you want to look at some comic relief, because all that stuff is scripted. Against what is scripted. It's just straight up scripted. So, that type of literacy we gotta keep sharing with our people, and just really encourage the folk that's down in Atlanta to, man, as in the immortal words of the great poet from the group Public Enemy, don't believe the hype.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, look, let me just say something for the folks that's listening to us and futurely might listen to this broadcast. It's so crazy that they picked on Jeremiah Wright so bad from the south side of Chicago. And if anybody was familiar with his ministry, they would know his entire ministry. He preached a message of Black pride. Okay, he never, not one time, preached hatred towards anybody. It was all about Black pride. And the fact that he had a message of Black pride and that he was close to President Obama and was considered his pastor at one time, they ran the man underground. He resigned from his church. He completely disappeared off the face of everything because he did not want to cause any harm towards the reputation of President Obama. So now where he makes his political contributions should not be an issue, because there are plenty of people that make contributions in places that they believe in. So, Black pride, if every other nationality can have pride, then why can't we have pride? Why is it a problem for us to have pride? You know, when the Jews start talking about the Holocaust, you know, and they start complaining about all of their ancestors they got killed and what the world is accountable for allowing this to happen. You know, they don't go around, you know, bashing the Jews. Okay. Oh, you got a problem because you're a Jew and you're talking about how proud you are. Okay. So why every time when we have someone that is a church leader, okay, and was the leader of a prominent church on the south side of Chicago, that's still around, by the way. The church did not crash and burn, okay? The church is still there, okay? But, you know, folks of other colors and other nationality, you know, they want to look at it and say, oh, no, we can't have that, you know.
It's fear.
And that's, yeah, it is fear.
It's fear,
It is fear.
And it's trying to control the narrative, redirect the discussion to something else. And because Jeremiah Wright scared them, because he had powerful words that frightened the establishment. That's all. Real simple.
And that was throughout. He didn't just start that. He was always that way.
But they didn't know.
Yeah, and that was the problem. They should have did some homework, you know.
Reverend Jeremiah Wright was a student of the Black liberation theology of James Cone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now it was nothing new. You know, it was nothing new. It was love of Black folk. It was not, as you said, Dr. It was not hate of white people. It was love of your people.
Exactly.
Many times, listen, when I was in Washington, D.C., and he came to speak at Howard University in January, man, I didn't come home. I didn't come to Chicago. I stayed there to listen to him. And even after he stopped pastoring, he was still brought to the university to speak, because he's talking about us talking about Black folk having pride. And for Black people to have pride and to be liberated among themselves is not to hate white people. That's never going to happen among us anyway. We're gonna always love them folk. You know, but we have to deal with them not loving us. It's not that we're not going to love them, because we always gonna love them, because we always gonna forgive. We're gonna be forgiven and all that kind of stuff. We just gonna deal with it. I mean, when people say stuff to when they bring that, come on, man, y'all. Nobody on the planet can go through what we went through and still have the capacity of love the way we do. You know, right. I say that all the time. I say, look, we got to be the greatest people on this planet, because we love everybody most of the time. We love everybody else sometimes but ourselves.
Amen.
And sometimes we need to focus on just loving ourselves, you know, and point that finger within us. And this is not to not love everybody else. But before we get on this we are the world thing, trying to straighten out everything for everybody else, let's focus on straightening out stuff within our own community with ourselves.
Amen.
Well, exactly. That amen and amen. That goes back to what I said about Malcolm X. So when Malcolm X came back from the pilgrimage, from the Hajj, he had the press conference. He said, white people can help us, but they can't join us. And that was very prominent even then, and it still is right to this day. And once again, he was not being anti, he was being pro, like we're talking about here now. So he said, how can we deal with other races? We don't deal with our own race first.
That's right.
Let's put ourselves first. For the first time in a long time, in this situation we're going through right now, all these troubling times and trials and tribulations, let's be greedy. Let's put ourselves first. That should be one of the mission statements and mantras going forward. Let's put ourselves first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stop this division. I mean, I was seeing some things where, people were trying to make these comparisons between the sororities and, the Divine Nine. And then people trying to make this a man agenda thing. And it's none of that. It's just love coming together. It's just love coming together. Them sisters and doing what they did what they did quietly for the benefit of us all. And Black women have always done that. They was raising white children and taking care of their own. And so if it's time for us to go behind their leadership, right on. Because this man, Mr. Biden, he's got an African-American young lady, Simone Sanders, that was running his campaign. Brilliant. He knows that lady, Stacey Abrams, that lady, Keisha Lance Bottom, Major Lance's daughter. And there's countless others. And the countless
Major Lance. Somebody might not know.
I'm sorry. The artist Major Lance, who a long time ago, he was a boxer, but he made the Monkey Time and
from Chicago.
Yeah, from Chicago. So that's why I had to get Arsenio Hall thing, but and to see her the other day when she was speaking, and all three of them sisters come from HBCUs. And I just got full. By VP Harris, Howard.
Howard, you? Yep.
Stacey Abrams, Spelman. Keisha Lance Bottoms, FAMU. So nobody
much better than that.
Right. And nobody can't say, and me and Dr. Ron talked about this, nobody can say that you're not producing great people coming out of the historic Black colleges and universities. That's done. Yep. Because those ladies are tired, and they just like Lee said earlier, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Miss Fannie Lou Hamer. Them women have carried that is carrying that spirit, and they're being a bulldozer now. Because this ugliness now, listen, I forget Trezaro, whatever forget all that. It's just downright ugly what's going on in this country. It's ugly. It's nasty. And they owe us a big time debt. And it's time for them to start paying.
Yep.
What do you think about the fact that we lost 10 seats to the Republicans in the House, and all of those seats were replaced by women? And I think they were all white women, if I remember correctly. What do you think that does to change the complexion or direction, not so much complexion, the direction of the House as it relates to more females now on the floor?
Go ahead. I was just going to say, traditionally women have a tendency to be more compassionate in their leadership style. Basically women, are mothers at heart. Okay. So the fact that we have females in a leadership role, they're going to be thinking about women's needs more so than a man would, because if you think about, how white men lead and even Black men lead, some things are not going to be of priority to them. But when you have women in leadership role, they're gonna know, like, hey, I can relate more so to that issue and to that political agenda that needs to be dealt with than some man could. Because I've heard some men that were so cold-blooded when it comes down to women's needs, they like, hey, that ain't our problem. We men, and that's the way they approach it, and I know they all have mothers, but they don't look at it like that, and they don't. Yeah, it is unfortunate. Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
But
Yeah.
you know what? As time goes on and things change and different people get in a position of power, and if they use the power in the right direction, for the right reasons, not self-serving, if you're voted in to do a job, do the job to reflect the people that voted you in. And that's good and bad, because it depends on how radical the people are that get in power. Now you remember the what was that the radical group that took over the Republican Party a couple of elections ago?
Mm-hmm.
Tea Party.
The Tea Party. What happened to the Tea Party? They didn't go away. They're not out front anymore because they're in the House now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still. Why do you think there's so many people backing this jackass? Because that's that Tea Party mentality. It's that right wing, far right wing, and they're feeling good about themselves because they got 72 million votes.
Mm-hmm.
And they think, oh, wow, listen, all we have to do, they're saying right now, all we have to do is keep him out front, keep driving more people to the party. Now, what are the actual statistics about the black percentage and Hispanic percentage that have voted for him so far? Do we have any numbers on that?
Not off the top, no.
I think the professor has some numbers on it. I don't have any in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard maybe a day after the election that the black male vote almost doubled. It went from like 8 to 12%. But that's still relatively low. It's an improvement. But I want to know, I want to talk with some of those black males, young black males that voted for Trump. I wish you would call into the show or join us here on the screen, because I want to know why. What was so convincing for you to vote for Donald Trump? It's America. You can vote for anybody that you want. But I just want to understand, as a person that's been voting since 1968, I just want to understand what was the driving force that convinced you that this guy had your best interests at heart. What did he say to convince you that he was a man for the job again?
954-668-4325. That is the call-in number. 954-668-4325. If you just joined us,
Street News
you
Now.
are late. We've been on the air for an hour and a half, and we've been chopping it up, talking about the hot topic that we've always been talking about, the presidential election. We have the legend, Mr. Lee Michaels, for Street News Now. We have the Bass, Mr. Chris Bass. We also have the Professor, Mr. Reggie Miles, and myself, Dr. Ron. And I tell you, this is going to be a regular gathering each and every Thursday. We're going to be starting at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, coming together, chopping it up, and trying to encourage each and every person to be a part of the process of change. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of work that's got to be done, and we're going to try and motivate you and encourage you the best way we know how. 954-668-4325. If you call that number, we will get you right into the show. Shout out to all the people that are chiming on the live feed. We appreciate you conversing and making your comments. Dr. Katrina Sanders. I mixed both our names together. Appreciate you being there with us. Michael Douglas, Michael Douglas. Those are the ones that I see right on the top there. Y'all keep talking to us because we see your comments and we appreciate them. It lets us know that at least two people are tuned in and paying attention to what's going on at a time like this. I tell you, we appreciate you all. Before we get off the air too, I don't know when Lee's gonna shut us down. I do have something I want to bring up, but I want to give the professor a chance to comment on what Lee just put out there. I know he got something to say.
Well, we have a caller.
Oh, we do. Good.
Yes.
Good.
Welcome to Street News Now. Who would they have on the phone?
God bless. This is Dr. Katrina Sanders. How are you?
Wonderful. Great. Good to hear a voice to match your words in the chat room. We're doing great. Thank you.
Wonderful. I wanted to make a comment earlier when you all were talking about the voting. As an election judge, I wanted to share this with you all briefly, the process of how a lot of our people did not take the basic initiative to follow the basic foundation for voting. Out of a precinct of 15,000 people, only 130 came to vote. Majority of them probably did the mail-in ballot. Some of them probably said, I don't know. But it may sound real corny to you, but I'm going to tell you what our people don't do. We don't change our addresses. Mm-hmm. When you don't change your address, you are redirected to go to the precinct that you previously resided in. And I got so much, y'all stupid, so-and-so, him, What happens is this. If you live, say 63rd and Evans, and you decide to move to 99th and Halsted, you have to send that little blue and white and red card in to Central for them to place you in the right precinct so that you can vote. But our people don't want to follow rules.
Yeah, well, because a lot of people don't know because they're not actively engaged in the voting process. And I think this time more people became more aware, if you will. Now, did you do the vote by mail there in Illinois?
Yes, we did. I was one that did my vote by mail, but I also wanted to share with you about the provisionals. The provisional is like a layaway at Walmart.
It is. You're right. Good description.
And we would tell the people that, listen, if you do provisional, it's going to be put in a bag box inside of the supply. And if we have to go, and recount them, Central would do that by hand, but it's not counted in until after, if it's necessary. And I actually did a Facebook Live about that last week. But if our people would learn to come together and listen, and when we are explaining the process, it's not our made up rules. It's what the Election Central does. And to have a large precinct and just $1 of votes, that means something. Now, a lot of the young people, the millennials, they did come out. I got to give it to them. We had a lot of 18-year-olds that came out. And this was their first time because they wanted to be a part of history, in their own way. And it's a wonderful thing. But when our people, now thinking about what Dr. Miles has said, we got to start with us and listen and not be afraid to speak the truth. Malcolm X, Dr. Ron know that I took the whole Malcolm X course. And I found out some things that the books didn't even tell us. But when we start to be serious about one another and learn our rights, then we can get somewhere. But until our people sit down and listen, gravitate, learn, and comprehend those things that were given to us, was fought for us, we're going to be still stuck on stupid and parked on dumb. And that's reality. But we got to change it. And that's what the part I'm about. I'm about change. I'm not about talking. People don't like me because I tell the truth. Well, I tell the truth because I exercise that truth from my heart because I have a passion for that. So that's all I wanted to share with you all.
Well, before you go, let me ask you a question. You said there were 15,000 registered voters in the poll, or
in my precinct.
In your precinct. And how many people actually came to vote?
130.
130 people. So what was the total number of legitimate ballots that were counted there in that? I mean, is it because most of those people mailed it in or they just didn't vote?
there was a quite number of people from the canvas, because when we do the e-poll books, I'm able to see who did a mail-in. We had a lot of mail-ins, so they don't count the mail-in into the day that we do the election on that, on that set day right there, because a lot of them already mailed it in.
Right.
Early voting. But for 15,000 to be in our precinct and only 130. The others.
Yeah, that's a low turnout. Now let me ask you this: why don't you guys count the mail-ins or early voting on a day-by-day basis? So the night of. Mm-hmm. Do you not do that in Illinois?
Central does that. Okay. When you mail it in, if you did an early voting, say in July, the early voting starts actually the year prior to. It does all the time, and people do mail it in, and they count that part in.
Okay,
but it's the day that the actual ballot machine. When you come in and you do your voting, we verify your information. We tell you to go ahead. This time, I kind of tease everybody. They was laughing at me. I said, "You're gonna be doing an exam because you got two papers you have to vote on, and that's the taxes and other stuff." But when that machine, when you get through and you go to the ballot machine, it comes right on through.
Right.
It hits Central. Boom, just like that.
Right. Well, I think that, the voting process, we have learned something from this particular election that, and I think moving forward, a lot of people are going to vote by mail or early. And if you mail a ballot, and you can fill that out at home or in your office or whatever and go and drop it in a box. I mean, that's what I did. Okay. And because I didn't want to stand in line, number one. Number two, it was more convenient.
Right.
So if that's going to be the policy moving forward, then I think we're going to have to adopt how those votes are counted or when those votes are counted so that we don't have this long delay and a moron like the current president saying somebody's cheating because he thought he could go to bed at 11 o'clock because he was ahead. So he could wake up at 4 o'clock and do a bunch of stupid tweets. So,
I know. And the thing about it, because there was such a big fuss about the mail-in, ballots were not being sent to Central. Well, you know what? I know we have a big problem here where we live in Woodlawn, where they're arguing and you don't get mail for 2 or 3 days. So what we did, we went all the way to Evergreen and put it in their mailbox, because the minute that Central got mine, they sent me an email. We received your ballot. It's counted. We're done.
Yeah.
Simple. So, but that's the thing, that if you can get people not to put those mail-in ballots at home and put coffee on top of them to get, you have a lot more,
That's right.
Because they do log in everything. Central, I have to say this about Central. They send everything. It's the people that are kind of doing the tippy turtle slow walk. Oh, I'm going to get around there sometime. They go, No, you need to do this now. That way it's already in.
Right. That's
so
the
when
key.
it comes back on election day, we don't, there's no rigging anything. And that's what I couldn't understand what Numbnut was talking about. I said, wait a minute, did you talk about, have you been to the ballots? When you get it, it goes through. It'll tell you if you overvoted, meaning you put too many people in 2 or 3 boxes, or if you undervoted and didn't even vote for nobody but just 2 boxes.
Right, exactly.
We call that spoil. So now we got to spoil that ballot. We can't throw it in the trash, and you got to start all over again.
Interesting. Well, thank you for calling in.
They don't speak. Yeah, okay.
You guys have any questions for the caller?
No, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say thank you for calling in. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for calling in. That's all I want to say.
Let me force that. I want to thank you for calling in. Also, to Katrina M. Sanders, thank you for being an election judge. Sometimes it's a very thankless position, but thank you for your service. That's beautiful of you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You gentlemen have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you. Now, we had another caller, and I didn't want to switch over, and it was a call from Georgia. So whoever that was, it was that you, Rick Party? No, you're not in Georgia though.
No,
but who? Yeah,
it could have been R. Michael Douglas. He said in the chat earlier about the phone numbers. That could have been him.
Call back.
Whoever it
Call
was,
back.
and we'll put you on right away.
Call back.
954-668-4325 is the number to call in on.
Yep. Call back. We want to hear from you. Definitely. You know, this is our regular Thursday night get together, the Four Horsemen. You know, we got it going on right here. We got a name and everything. We ready to go. I see Dave Johnson just gave us an update that Lauren Underwood has now taken the Congresswoman's seat over Oberweis.
Oh,
they
boy.
were in they were in a cat and dog fight out there in the area that they were in to determine, because they both had declared victory at the same time at one time or another, you know. So with the mail-in ballots, she has pulled ahead, and I think he has conceded at the time. So she has been declared the winner. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in the white folks neighborhood. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, I said that.
All right, we have our caller now from Georgia. Come on in.
Lee Michaels and family.
Thank you.
Hey, this is R. Michael Douglas. Also, Lee, I dropped the D off of the Sergio D since you said it sounded like a mobile DJ name. So,
well, you know, don't always go by what I say, because, you know, I'm kind of twisted.
No, it's no problem. Man, thank you, brothers, for this topic tonight, man. It has always have gotten, you know, under my skin with a lot of people of color that you'll find most of them going out for the presidential elections and forgot that we have two other branches of office that they really need to get out there and vote for. You got the legislative office, and you also have, of course, the House, the one that sets up the laws, and the other folk that gives the money. So every 2 years, folk also need to get their butts out there and vote like they did this time.
Absolutely.
For the presidential race. That's where we lose it.
I agree with you.
Because you find a lot of folks that are like, things aren't going to change. This isn't going to change because you're voting in the wrong. I'm not going to say voting in the wrong election, but you need to get those 2-year elections to get folk out like, I'm not going to curse on the line, but like Moscow Mitch out of there and Lindsey Graham and the rest of those guys out of there.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure every 2 years that you're getting out there and you're hitting those. Don't just sit back and be idle like most folk are.
That's right. And people always talk about, well, we need term limits. Well, you have the ability to vote every 2 years, and you can bring about those changes in the House and the Senate. You don't have to let these people stay there for 30 years. That's what you're doing when you don't vote them out. You let them stay in.
Right. And I tell, like, I'm with the 100 Black Men of Atlanta down here, and when we mentor our young men, we tell a lot of them, I said, don't just be one of those that's giving lip service. If you want something changed, well, become an officer, become somebody in the courts, run for a local office, then move your way up. That's how you're going to make your change.
That's right. What's the atmosphere like there in Georgia? You're in Atlanta, though, right?
Yeah, well, up north. So
okay.
The north of Atlanta.
What county is that?
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett. Okay. So what's the sentiment or the atmosphere like among people now as it relates to the fact that Biden is ahead there in Georgia?
Yeah.
And, you know, we have this runoff of 2 Senate positions coming up in January. What are people talking about there?
They are working really hard, and I got to give a lot of credit to Stacey Abrams, who's really spearheading them like you would not believe. And it's not just with the African American; it's with, you know, as my mom called them, people of the lighter expression, and then other brown folk as well. And they're doing really well as far as getting folk out, making sure that they stay cognizant about the vote and why we need to get these other 2 seats filled directly, you know, in the Senate. So they're pushing it really hard. But you have the 2. I'm trying to refrain from saying what I'm going to say. The 2 Republican numbnuts who brought up this stuff about Jeremiah Wright and all of that, which is really crazy. They are pushing really hard with a whole bunch of negative ads that they're putting directly on television right now. That's why I love the one that Reverend Raphael Warnock has out right now, how he automatically stated, he said, if you see this commercial, it's really funny, where he's walking down the street. First of all, they said, Reverend Warnock stepped on a crack while he was walking down the street. He eats his pizza with a fork and knife, and he hates puppies, stuff like that. He said, you're going to hear a lot of negative ads that's coming out. So I just want you all to know that. But no, I'm about the issues. I'm about what's going on with this COVID. I'm also about what's going on with things that these other two candidates aren't about. And it's really good. I mean, it's a great commercial, but not only that, they have them down packed about stuff that they did not vote for the folk that are here in Georgia, as well as for the folk throughout the world.
Yeah, that's good that they're bringing their report card to the surface on what they have done up to this point, which is important. Yeah. We need to know what their history is and what they've represented up to this point. So I'm glad they're doing that.
What can we do, the people that are outside of the state of Georgia, to help keep the vibe moving forward, to help elect these two senators so that we can get some more support in the Senate to help Joe Biden?
I think what we're doing now with, as far as mediums like what you have, what we do on our station, so on and so forth, to continue to push that out. It's one of those, like we said, when you go to the polls, take 4 people with you. Same thing. If you know someone that's down in the Georgia area, talk to them, have them talk to a few more folk and let them know this is the date that you need to get out there so you can vote again for these 2 Senate seats. Don't just lay back because Biden's in office. We still have to get these other seats in order to assist him and getting a lot of stuff done that Moscow Mitch is not going to let him get done.
Right. That's true. He's got to have the support in the House and the Senate to get the job done.
Otherwise,
and we also have to worry about the Supreme Court and federal judges that are all around the country.
Exactly.
Now, I think Trump has picked a couple hundred federal judges around the country.
Yeah, I think it's like 250 or something like that.
Yeah. So he has stacked the court, in the favor of the right wing part of our country, and I think, listen, in all fairness, I think we should have balance. I don't think it should be tilted one way or the other. I think a good argument needs to come to the floor in the House and the Senate and debate on what's right for us, the people, not for them and their self-interest.
I mean, I think there was. Sorry for cutting you off, Lee. There was something I think the professor mentioned earlier today about the Jews and so on and so forth. And I put a comment in there about Trump has one, that Stephen Miller dude, who's one that is a skinhead and Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it blows my mind how they can be turncoats. It's just like right now with the how they're wanting the recount of everything. Now, if you can remember back in 2015 when it had happened, they say now the Dems are sore losers. Now they want to try to have ballots recounted. They want to have this and they want to have all of this. And I found that video and soundbite, and I posted it. I'm like, how damn hypocritical can you be?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like people forget about stuff like that.
That's right. When he was on the other foot, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, first of all, our Michael Doug, how you doing, brother? Good to hear you.
Man, what's up, brother Bass?
Man, I can't call it, man. I'm just good to hear your voice, man. Every time I do my show on Baseline, this brother always chimes like, I give you props and credit when credit's due. And also another brother in broadcasting here. Thank you, sir. The question I have for you is,
are you from Chicago?
Yeah, man, Lee, I used to do some interning back at the old V103 and GCI way back. And actually, I started doing interning back at WJPC way back in the day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you got your feet wet.
and he's old. If he was at JPC,
he's got a couple days on him.
Yeah, here you go.
The old, hey, Lee, I remember the old WOPA.
Oh,
the
wow.
Oak Park.
Opa.
That was a Sunderland station, wasn't it, Lee?
It was, yeah. It was the AM BMX.
Yeah.
So Michael.
Format.
So since you're in Atlanta, if you were the top advisor to Stacey Abrams right now is the superstar. If you were her top advisor, she has three options as I look at it at this point. Should she become a cabinet post member for the Biden administration? Should she become the chairperson for the DNC, or wait 2 years and run for the governorship of Georgia?
That is the advice that I would probably give her, is to run for the governorship.
Yeah, because everything starts at home, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned that if Biden starts grabbing a bunch of senators and House of Representatives to be a part of his cabinet, you know, that upsets the apple cart. You know, you got to replace those. I mean, if you got your ducks in order and you got a good replacement that can then run in the next election and win, then okay, fine. But
I think that's some of the things that she's doing right now. She's setting that up. How she registered, I think it was over 1 million new voters that she ended up registering down here in Atlanta, and that's a hell of a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
Bang! Woo!
Now, can you imagine that if you could register at least 1 million people in every state, that's 50 million more new voters.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what we're kind of seeing. I think we're seeing a surge in this last election of a lot of new voters, and it has to be, or people who just been sleeping at the wheel and finally got hit in the head and woke them up.
That dude Cesaro, man. Listen, man. A blind man would have voted against this cat, because all you had to do was hear him. If you just heard what he was talking about, man, you know this dude was from another planet. He was from Planet Orange, because he cared. Look, the Spinners made a song. It said it takes a fool to learn that Trump don't love nobody. Trump don't love no one.
He loves himself. That's about it. He probably I think he's probably upset because he probably had a bet with Vladimir. He sold off his daughter and his wife. So now that he's lost, he's got to give both of them up. That's why he's a little PO. So
I'm gonna play that this weekend too. It takes a fool to learn.
He will
Trump
give up.
Don't love no one. Trump,
you know what? All this music we've been bringing up in the time of being on, I had to probably go and start creating like parody songs. You know, like Hell No the Blue Notes. The votes are lost.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost it. Sorry, I lost it.
It was a few months, but I lost it. Yeah.
I lost it, right.
Have Teddy doing that. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. My brothers, but it's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege, man, to be on the line with the
wait. Time out. You said what? It's a what?
Plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege.
Damn DJ right there, folks.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say thank you very much for calling in and calling back, because we know you called before and being persistent and getting on the line with us. We appreciate the update from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll keep y'all posted too, man, because we're doing
yes,
the
please.
Work down here.
Yeah, you have to be our Georgia correspondent.
Man, every day that I do my thing in the morning, man, I'm telling, when I'm playing my gospel, I'm telling people to pray for the folks down there in GA, man.
Yeah.
Turn GA blue. I'm praying.
And you got a bunch of crazy folks that's down here rolling around. They don't do it too much up here in Gwinnett County because, I mean, everybody up here packs, but in the areas like over in Cobb and Fulton County and stuff like that, a lot of our family members have to really be careful.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
All right, my brothers. You all have a great evening now.
You too.
All right.
God bless you and be safe. All right.
Thank you.
Don't invite a bunch of people over for Thanksgiving.
It takes a fool to learn that drums don't love nobody.
If y'all want to call in before we get out of here, 954.
Got 3 minutes.
4325. We got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes. Okay. The
3 minutes, Dougie Fresh.
The legend said we out of here in 3 minutes. Well, since we winding down, let me throw this out right quick. I got something that came across my desk today on international news. If you all are not aware, the former leader, Jerry Rawlings, has passed away at 73. He was the leader of the military in Ghana, West Africa, and later became the first elected president of that country when they decided to go to a democratic form of government. He was the leader for many years, then he retired, but he passed away on Thursday at the age of 73. He was one of the guys that I had the honor and privilege of meeting when I was in Ghana many years ago. Actually, I was in Ghana in the early 90s when he got elected as the president of Ghana. And one of the things about him was that he didn't take no crap. When them folks came over there talking about, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, he would stick an M16 up their derriere and tell them, get back on the plane. We don't want this crap over here. And he was serious. He would have pulled the trigger, So he also, he ruled with an iron fist, but he was for the people. He was definitely for the people. And I would not want to have this show without paying tribute and honor to a true leader, in our homeland, the motherland, of Ghana. And I just wanted to mention him and talk about him before we get out of here.
Very good. Good.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard it either.
Yeah. And with that note, look, you've been listening to Street News Now. We've been on for the last 2 hours talking about the election and what's got to happen, what's coming up next. Street News Now is the creation of the legend, Mr. Lee Michaels. And we all have been invited to come back each and every week to be here. Mr. Chris Bass, The Bass, who has his own shows that he does on Facebook. He does his talk show on Wednesday and his talk show on Friday. We have the professor. I'm gonna let him.
You forgot the names, didn't you? That's what happened. You forgot the names.
I'm gonna let you tell it. I'm just giving
you was on a roll, right? I didn't want to interrupt you, so
I'm gonna let you tell what it is. And then we got the professor who has his shows every day, and then on the weekends, rocking and rolling all the time, Mr. Reggie Miles. And then myself, Dr. Ron. Now, I'm gonna give my stuff now. I go on Facebook Live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can find me at www.ask-dr-ron.com. See, I didn't even say it. I just spelled it because y'all got me last week. So, Chris, you want to tell them where they can find you at? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was askdrron.com not available without all the hyphens?
No, it was not. There's actually a medical doctor who has the same name, and he was doing public radio, so I had to go with the hyphens. So
what about Ask Dr. Ron Ford?
I thought that would be too long.
said there were 16,000 hyphens in there. So,
hey man, you got a problem with my marketing? I'm gonna get you in touch with my marketing team and let you discuss that with them.
Give him my number. Let me rap on.
Hey, we ain't got time for that, man. Lee is a hyphen racist, so we ain't got time for that.
I don't like hyphens. That's separation.
Where can they find you, Chris? Tell them.
Oh, okay. You catch me every Wednesday when I do CBI Chris-based interviews every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central on Facebook Live. And then also you catch me on Fridays, same time, 4 p.m. Central, where I do Baseline. So, add me as a friend. Go tell 5 of your friends and 8 of your enemies that CBI and Baseline will be in the air.
Professor?
Nice.
Oh, hey, all right. He did the boogie on down. Every morning. Oh, that was nursery rhymes, the People's Choice. But in the morning, every morning, Facebook Live, Twitch at Prof. Reggie Miles. No, it's twitch.tv/Prof. Reggie Miles. Facebook Live under Reggie Miles. And I've added a new one. I've added Mixcloud, which is Professor Reggie Miles, and that's a paid service, so I can play all the music I want, man.
There you go.
And so it's good. Now it's time to add with you guys and shake up the game. It's time to shake up the game. And as the OJs would say, you got to give the people, give them what they want. That's and right. I think this is what, them telling us, what we want and what we need to hear and what we need to buy, all that stuff. It's a little bit of time out for that. We got to get back into ourselves so we can get back control of us. So that's what I'm all about. Cool. Bringing it back to us.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Without you, it wouldn't be the same. And I'm hoping that we can grow the show. And I encourage people to share and invite other people in, send some likes, keep the comments coming in, because that helps us with the dialogue. And we're on Facebook and YouTube under Street News Now on Facebook. On YouTube. I do have a Facebook page, but I haven't finished dressing it up yet for Street News Now, but that's forthcoming. Maybe by next week, we'll have that up and running. So we'll have it on my page with Lee Michaels and the Street News Now on Facebook and on YouTube. And we might do some Instagram and spread it out in some other places as well. Till next Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. East Coast, 6 p.m. here on the left coast. We'll see you then. God bless. Keep your mask on. Keep your focus. And if things get hot, don't call me. Don't call me because I'm boo-boo the fool. I might mess up. Y'all take care. God bless. And we'll see you next week right here on Street News Now.
SNN Street News Now.